What up, Space Fam? Goes in here from AnimeUproar, and I'm back at it again to discuss the latest and one of the final chapters of the Attack on Titan manga. The epic final battle seems to be over, and the results are absolutely shocking, so make sure to stay tuned for that. If you do enjoy seeing these Attack on Titan videos and want to keep them coming, then the best thing you could do is Warhammer smash that like button and share this video with any Attack on Titan fans that you know. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe, and this is crucial. Hit that notification bell and select all, or you will miss future Attack on Titan videos. And while you wait for the next insane chapter to drop, feel free to check out our growing Attack on Titan playlist, where we got videos about all the Titan shifters and their powers, all the Acromans and their powers, the Titans rank for weakest to strongest, and much more. Link to that is in the description. Now, without further ado, let's jump into it, spoilers and all. So first, I just gotta say, we got so much more information in this chapter. Things are starting to come together, and although we are still 2 chapters away from completely wrapping up the story, some of the theories I mentioned in the previous videos did end up coming true, and for others they seem more likely now, even if they haven't been confirmed. But let's start at the beginning. Interestingly enough, we get another huge perspective shift. Attack on Titan is known for these. Remember when we thought humanity only existed within the walls, and then we found out what was in the basement, and all of a sudden what we thought was all of humanity was actually viewed as a monster race by the rest of humanity, who continued to go about their lives as the Eldians remained ignorant on their Titan-infested island. Now the manga is showing us the perspective from space and the perspective of a much broader timeline. We're taken too long ago when nothing existed in this world. Eventually something appeared and survived, and we're told that we know this thing as life. Interestingly enough, we see an underwater spine-like creature when we're told this, again giving credence to the theory that the spine-like creature that Amir Fritz encountered has a will of its own. While people have viewed Titan powers as tools to carry out their ends, it looks like this creature was using them to carry out its own ends too, meaning its own survival and multiplication. You could say that this creature connects all Eldians, and so the more Eldians that are created and survive, the happier it will be. However, Zeke is the ultimate enemy of this creature because Zeke wants to cease Eldian existence, and this would mean the end of this creature as well, presumably. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We first meet with Armin and Zeke. These are probably the 2 most intelligent characters alive in the world of Attack on Titan based on IQ, and they're having a conversation about life and their philosophies about it inside the unknown land. And keep in mind, they have been absorbed at this point into Eren and his Titans in the physical world for now. Fiction just doesn't get any better than this for me. Zeke, the older one, talks about how life ultimately survived because it was in its nature to multiply. Life took new forms in order to multiply, adapting to every kind of environment and eventually leading to us as we are now. It sought numbers, sought to spread, and sought abundance. And Zeke mentions if we follow this line of thinking, then the purpose of life is to multiply. The king of Eldia, who took Amir Fritz as his wife, wanted to do that, and the spine-like creature wants to do that too. And it suggested that it was on Earth way before humans arrived. And as mentioned, it adapted by attaching to Ymir and spreading itself through the Eldian people. The subjects of Ymir specifically are those Eldians who have part of that creature inside of them and can thus turn into Titans. By the way, this chapter is fittingly called Titans, not only because we are learning so much about them, but because so many appear in this final battle as well. Zeke mentions how non-living things like sand, pebbles, the water, don't seek to multiply, but life never stops, frantically trying to do so. As a result, death is so feared because it runs counter to the goal of multiplying and, in a sense, living on forever. And Zeke concludes that this is the reason Amir Fritz as a kid wanted to avoid such pain, and thus gave birth to an undying body. This was specifically when she attached to the spine-like creature. She didn't die like most people. She escaped to a world that was free of death, and this is the unknown land that we've seen so much about, where the coordinate is and where all the paths connect. Armin realizes that that girl was the founder and that the place they're in now is the place free of death, but wonders about Ymir's goal. Zeke says he spent a lot of time in this world trying to figure that out, and despite having insane amounts of power, Ymir Fritz never defied King Fritz, but rather obeyed him for 2,000 years. She still felt attached to the real world she left behind, and Eren understood that, saw her as that human when Zeke couldn't, and that's why she went with him. Armin is the guy here still trying to get get back to the outside world. He still has a hope and purpose, while Zeke seems to have given up. Zeke wonders why Armin wants to keep going. Is it just to keep multiplying? Pretty much what this chapter is about is what is the purpose of life, and why keep going if there's no purpose, or if the purpose is just to multiply and die later anyways. Deep stuff, and I love the fact that Attack on Titan is tackling such important philosophical questions so openly. Zeke says that what we're seeing now, pretty much referring to the rumbling and the destruction that Eren is causing, can be called the miserable sight of life forms controlled by fear. A fear of not multiplying, of death, of the end. And there's truth to this. Eren is doing what he's doing because he feared the rest of the world would eradicate his people, and his people are the subjects of Ymir, so it's completely possible that the spine-like creature was also influencing him, since it wants to keep the subjects of Ymir going too, since they're kind of like its hosts, and ensure its survival and expansion. Zeke is talking in a very abstract way, while Armin is more concerned with the immediate and concrete. He says his friends are fighting right now, he doesn't want to give up because he can still save so many people from terror. Armin wants to fight fear, the fear that leads to these kinds of catastrophes. Zeke wonders what would be so bad about losing the fight. Living means you're going to die anyways one day, so why not give up? Perhaps giving up and dying brings relief, according to Zeke. And then he says that I quote, maybe the end of your days being manipulated all in the name of multiplication without ever knowing if it means anything at all feels like freedom, end quote. And so in Zeke's view, Eren's constant fighting for survival, which he calls freedom, is pretty pointless. Perhaps ceasing to exist is the answer, not frantically struggling to survive, even if it all might be pointless. Armin though refuses to accept Zeke's conclusion. He finds a leaf in the sand, he picks it up and remembers how he had a race with Mikasa and Eren when they were kids. As he ran, Armin felt the nice breeze and he was in a really good mood. He thought at that moment that maybe he was born for this, so the three of them could race on this gorgeous day. He felt the same when he read on a rainy day, or when he fed nuts to a squirrel, and so on. He felt like these trivial moments, not to mention fleeting moments, might actually be precious. These moments are precious even if they don't necessarily advance the biological goal of multiplying your genes. So Armin is saying here that reproduction and survival isn't the only point of life. Rather, the point of life is to live it, specifically to live it fully in the present moment. If you lived fully in the moment and appreciated it, it doesn't matter that you'll die one day. There's value in having experienced it, even if it doesn't last forever. Where Armin sees the leaf, Zeke sees a baseball. He remembers how he used to play catch with Tom, the previous Beast Titan user. And Zeke actually agrees with Armin, saying that just throwing and catching over and over again with Tom was in a sense meaningless. There wasn't some grand goal behind it, but he still enjoyed it. He would have much rather have kept on playing catch. And I really like this moment. Most people would agree that we create our own meaning or purpose in life. But I like Armin's view that it doesn't have to be this grand thing like saving the world or becoming the best. It can just be enjoying the beauty that life has to offer and cherishing the connections we make with each other while we're here. The little moments can be what it's all about. And this truth resonates all the more when very outwardly successful people like Jim Carrey say stuff like, and I quote, "I hope everybody could get rich and famous and will have everything they ever dreamed of, so they will know that it's not the answer," end quote. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with pursuing goals, but don't expect to feel everlasting happiness just because you accomplish your external goals. Whether you're richer or poorer, once you reach the basic requirements of life, your happiness will depend more on how much you fully live life in the present moment and on the strength of your connections with friends and family than it will on your bank account. Armin is onto this, and even if Rome falls and your name gets lost in the endless sea of time, that doesn't matter because it's all about being here and now, living your best life and connecting with the people around you. I should be getting back to the chapter, but wow, this is some amazing philosophical material to work with. We then see the past Titan shifters, Grisha, Kruger, Tom, Ymir the Survey Corps, Marcel, and Porco before we jump back to the fight, with Eren's insane Titan body and the colossal Titans marching marching forward. Peak has been injured and is saved by Jean. It's interesting to see a Survey Corps member saving a Marleyan warrior that he doesn't really know that well. Eren has really brought everyone together as they try to stop him, and maybe that was part of his plan. For a long time, we've been entertaining the possibility that Eren was pulling some kind of Lelouch Zero Requiem kind of move where he directs all the hatred on him and so people can overcome their differences. The thing is, he probably ended way more lives than necessary if this was his plan, but it clearly has brought the people who remain together and he gave them the free will to fight him, so there's that too. Reiner is not in good shape and it's become a meme at this point. Reiner has been getting beaten up for his whole career, it feels like. He now has many weapons stuck inside him, but just as things look horrible, Bertolt's Colossal Titan shows up. And I mentioned the possibility of Bertolt and the others being able to control their titans in past reviews, and it looks like that is what's happening here, which is interesting because in a way, none of them are really dead in the sense that they are gone forever. Like Ymir Fritz, they seem to reside somewhere in the unknown land and can come back in these kinds of special circumstances. Of course, Bertolt helps Annie's female titan while she's in trouble. He had a huge crush on her, and probably still does, and Armin seems to have taken over as that crusher after his death. But nonetheless, you know Bertolt is going to do everything in his power to save the girl he loves. We see Porco and Marcel also exercising free will in their titan forms, attacking the other titans that Eren is summoning. Ymir of the Survey Corps and her dancing titan make an appearance too. This is actually a really cool occurrence to have in one of the closing chapters because all of these characters from the past come back for this one epic attempt to stop Eren's godlike titan. It's literally Eren and the founding titan versus everybody, and everybody even includes characters that have passed on. Mikasa takes the opportunity to finally get the titan holding Armin after Gabby hits it in the eye. Armin is saved and the much hated Gabby had something to do with it. There is so much hate for Gabby in the anime watching community now. I look forward to seeing if at least some of them will change their opinion about her as the anime progresses to the end. Clearly she's not as bad as she was before, nor as brainwashed. Still, it's hard to forgive a character who killed our precious potato girl. The cool thing is, after the titan tries to stab Armin and get him back, he attacks it. Everyone plays a role in saving him, even himself. And also Connie, who cuts the tongue of the titan so that Armin doesn't drop down with it. And then Annie, who should definitely end up with Armin, catches him in the hands of her female titan. Armin is soaked in titan fluids as they make eye contact. That's about as romantic as Attack on Titan gets. As Annie is about to be attacked, we see Kruger's titan, Grisha's titan, and what we can assume is Tom's beast titan, which seems to be a sort of ram, helping out. They play a role in saving Annie. It was already suggested before, but it's even clearer now that Grisha does not want Eren to carry out his plan, and neither does Kruger. An interesting development for former Eldian restorationists and possessors of the attack titan. Then, even Zeke helps Levi find him. He waves over to him. You know it's the ultimate team effort when even Levi and Zeke are on the same page. Zeke wants Levi to cut off his head and end the suffering and death. Because remember, if Zeke gets killed, then Eren won't have access to the founding titan power anymore because he no longer has a royal-blooded titan. Levi seems so confused during this whole thing. He probably wanted to get some truly satisfying revenge after all Zeke's done to his friends, comrades, and even him. But Zeke takes away that satisfying fantasy by willingly presenting himself to be killed. And so of course Levi can't take any joy in killing him. But he probably does respect Zeke more now than he did before. According to Armin, Zeke is the one who woke up those who were asleep in the world of paths, where neither life nor death exists. How awesome is this stuff? I love the complexities that are woven into the Attack on Titan world. It's mentioned that every Eldian is connected to one another by the path because the founder Ymir wants to be connected. Thus, we can assume that every subject of Ymir who died is still alive in a sense, just hasn't been woken up as Grisha and the others were. Zeke has a very interesting conversation with Tom. He admits that their dream of euthanization was never realized and he doesn't think it was a mistake, but now he says that if it meant getting to play catch with Tom again, then he wouldn't mind being born once more after all. Thus, even for Zeke, one of the biggest pessimists, the joys of life at least cancel out the suffering. He felt like his life was worth it because of the joyous moments he experienced with Tom. And as a result, he also thanks Grisha, his biological father, for bringing him into this world and also for making it so that he would meet Tom. There is a very important lesson here. Grisha could have been like Tom to Zeke. He could have prioritized moments of connection with his son, but instead he just treated him as a tool in his grand plan to restore Eldia. Then we jump to Armin, who tells Bertolt that he took everything from him: his life, power, precious memories, and he doesn't mention it, but he could probably add Annie into the mix too. Armin though still asks for his help, like Zeke asked for Tom's and Grisha's, and as we see, they do help. And Zeke, as he's about to get killed, looks at the beautiful day, a beauty he could never see when his mind was always somewhere else, focused on accomplishing his master plan at all costs. He wishes he realized earlier how beautiful life can be if you take the time to notice, but he admits that after all the killing he's done, that's asking for too much. And I know I always reference Code Geass because it is awesome and it's one of my favorite series, just like Attack on Titan is, but Zeke didn't just kill, he was also, as Lelouch advised, prepared to be killed. And you can at least respect someone like that more than someone who kills with no mercy but then clings to life and does anything possible to survive. Levi finishes the job and you can see in his face that he's conflicted. He carried out what he had to do, but he's not happy about it. And so ends the rivalry between Zeke and Levi, and it ends in a much different way than we probably expected. In the end, their rivalry finished with an understanding and in an agreed upon manner. The rumbling stops and Jean finally activates the explosives around Eren's Titan's neck. The spine-like creature tries to reattach to the head, but this time people are ready. Reiner's Titan tackles the creature, and although we definitely can't be sure at this point, there is a very real possibility that Eren might die. It doesn't feel final enough, so we'll definitely have a better sense of what's going on in the next chapter, but anything can happen at this point, and it's clear to me that Eren was prepared to die. As Reiner holds the creature, the others prepare to get away on the flying Titan, while Armin prepares to blow up all the bones and probably the creature too with the explosion ability of the Colossal Titan. And I like it here that Jean knows how the armored Titan can actually withstand the Colossal Titan explosion. This is a point I've brought up in many past videos, and it makes the armored Titan pretty cool and unique. Either way though, Reiner too is prepared to die if that's what it takes. Armin thanks the Titan shifters of the past who came back to help them, saying without them they wouldn't have been able to stop Eren or the rumbling. They hold Armin as he prepares for the explosion, and he says goodbye Eren as the explosion begins. We see Mikasa's tortured face as they fly away on the very cool looking flying Titan, and we should only have 2 chapters left by my understanding. It is almost all over, and wow, this chapter was extremely packed with significant actions, philosophies, and Titan information. This series is keeping up the amazing quality right up until the end, and it may very well be my favorite series ever in 2 months when we know how it ends. Let me know your thoughts on this chapter and what you expect to see happening next. Is Eren gone forever, as Armin is implying? Remember, this wouldn't be the first time Eren appeared to be dead but ended up surviving. I can already think of at least 2 cases where that happened, so definitely don't count him out yet. But yeah, the remaining world saw Eldians save their butts from the threat that was about to kill them, so hopefully Armin will get his wish and people will be able to move beyond their fears and come together in peace. Perhaps such a view is too idealistic, perhaps maintaining peace will always be a struggle, but at least they could enjoy the little moments like playing catch and running around in the breeze with friends while they can. And that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did and want to keep the Attack on Titan videos coming, then the best thing you can do is Warhammer smash that like button. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe, and this is crucial, hit that notification bell and select all, or you will miss future Attack on Titan videos. And while you wait for the next insane chapter to drop, feel free to check out my growing Attack on Titan playlist, where we got videos about all the Titan shifters and their powers, all the Acromans and their powers, the Titans rank from weakest to strongest, and much more. Link to that is in the description. And I especially want to thank the Patron squad over on Patreon and here on YouTube who help make videos like this one possible. First and foremost, I want to thank the Patron of Legend, the one acknowledged by Lord Twigo himself, and the most donated champion of the world, Alpha Sigma. And are the 1-tier patrons, the ones who stand atop all clans, Ingrata, The World, Acquire Respect, Pate Heffa, Liam Thompson, Aljatal, Dr. Cortman, Johnny Boy Draws, Emperor Otaku, Spidey Life Tanel, Baked Buddhist, and Tungsten Tarkus. And our Pro Hero tier patrons, the one and only Gilgamesh, Steelers, Angel Cruz, Anatoly Kazatsky, Joe Stanton, Very Gucci, Jessica Kayla Fawn, Rathuan Deora, Alicia Actor, Bonnie Parks, Hinokami and Water, The Red-Haired Raven, Joanne Garcia, Jack Watches Anime, Fatboy Games, Deadly Saint, Matthew Cruz, and Anthony Schreiber. Thank you all so much. If you enjoy our work, you can support more of it by going over to patreon.com/AnimeUproar and becoming a patron today for as little as $1. If you do so, you'll get your name featured in future videos alongside these epic people right here, and you'll even get access to our private patron-only Discord where we talk about anime life and of course dank memes. So check out patreon.com/AnimeUproar, link in the description if you're interested. You can also join the YouTube channel by clicking that blue join button next to the subscribe button that you've hopefully already destroyed. So you can support more content that way if you prefer, and whichever way you choose to support us, you can get the same great benefits. Thanks again, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys!